Hello, welcome to the more so physical corner of making spirituality real. And we're going to talk about kind of a part two of the last two videos where I showed you what I have in my closet and explained the principles behind purchasing organic clothing. And all that was done for the purpose of explaining how to preserve your spiritual principles while navigating this physical reality. And that is especially applicable to those who, like me, are highly sensitive energetically and feel themselves influenced by those things, feel a weight in them when they don't watch out for what kind of physical matter they surround themselves with. And so in the last two videos I gave you a realistic explanation of what you can do on a budget, but also how that works realistically in day-to-day life when it comes to actual application of wearing certain things and doing certain things. And today we're kind of going to a part two of that. We're going to be talking about cosmetics that do not harm your body. Now, first disclaimer is that this advice is not gonna please many of you, because I know that a lot of women are really into experimenting a lot with like a lot of kinds of cosmetics, and it's trendy, it's pleasurable, people exercising their Venus and whatever, indulging in the physical pleasure part of this life. But the very sad reality for all of those guys, but the very sad reality for all of you who, like those kind of things, which, it's okay, is that less is really more when it comes to your health, in those matters. Like, the less you put on yourself, on your skin, the better. Like, I know some girls who don't even leave the house without putting on things like foundation, bronzer, primer, blush, God knows what. Like, there's a whole list of things that I don't even know what they are, even though I'm a woman, because I don't really use them. And they don't do it because they want to cover up a massive flaw. They do it because they feel like they should, or because they think it's fun. And the sad truth is that most of those things are toxic, or they contain ingredients that are bad for you. Now, I'm actually gonna start with makeup because there's not much to say about it. Very sadly, while there are more alternative, more organic solutions for makeup, I'll just give it to you straight. The more organic makeup is, the less it holds. So actually, makeup is the one area of my life where I don't really go for the whole organic stuff. Why? Because it doesn't work. Like, if you have an organic lipstick, it's going to melt. It's going to melt, and it's not gonna last long, and it's gonna, get off your face when you're drinking or eating. So when it comes to makeup, I actually, what I do is, for those of you who are on a budget, I thrift higher quality brands on the same thrift store app that I mentioned for my clothes last time. And by high quality, I mean, designer brands generally would stay away from as far as other cosmetics go. Now, when I mean cosmetics for makeup, I mean things like mascaras, lipsticks, or eyeshadows. However, I would not recommend those brands for anything like a body cream. We're gonna get into this later. Here we're talking strictly makeup, as in, makeup that exists to beautify you. I know that historically our ancestors used to use all those more organic things made from plants, but the sad truth about those was that, especially when you sweat or when the heat is high, those things that did not stay on back then, and the only reason why they stay on nowadays is because of the chemical factor. So what I do is that often I just don't wear makeup at all, and on those days when I do wear it, I use those things that technically are not the best, and I cannot recommend them to anyone, quite frankly, from a health or spiritual perspective, because it's just never gonna be good. There are no cosmetics in this world when it comes to makeup where you can make your mascara last and make it be completely organic. There is no lipstick that's gonna last when you take a sip out of a glass and it's gonna be organic. It's just not gonna happen. Now, the middle ground here is chapstick, when you're trying to, make your lips less dry, but you don't really want any color, or you're gonna have a color that's of a natural basis. You don't care if it comes off. There are things that you can do to replace chapstick. For example, what I use is 100% organic cocoa butter. It wasn't really very expensive at all. I bought it when I was still in Europe, and the only issue with it is that it dries up. Like, when you don't use it for a longer time, it kind of has this very hard texture. But when you actually touch it on your fingers, when applied in contact with the skin, it kind of melts on your fingers. So if you have dry lips, which it can happen especially in winter if your house has heating, because the dry air from the aircon, it dries out, it can dry out your skin. Or when it's cold outside, it can dry out your skin too. So you can see that it kind of like gets those little white bits inside. But this is just cocoa butter, so what you do is that you just take it on your finger like this. Hope you can see that well. Yeah, I hope that focuses. And if you apply it on your lips, as you can see, it's kind of melting. You can't see anything because the human skin is warm. So it melts on your skin and makes your lips moisturized. And that is kind of like the only form of makeup. Well, my lips are slightly glossy right now from the cocoa butter. Congratulations. The point of this is, it's health. It's not a glamorous look. If I want a glamorous look, I'm gonna wear makeup. That's not gonna be good when it comes to, the whole ecological factor, but it's gonna work. And by work, I mean it's just gonna stay on, basically. It's not gonna fall off you, it's not gonna evaporate. So, there are all those cosmetic brands that are like, oh yeah, we're organic, and this eyeshadow is organic, but don't fool yourself. Like, these things may have slightly less chemicals, but there's a price to pay for this, and the price is that they don't stay on. Like, I used to have like these so-called organic mascaras, and they just make you look like you just cried. They don't work. So I'm honestly saving your time here so that you don't delude yourself. You can try to use these kind of organic alternatives like our ancestors used, like, beetroot lipstick or whatever. But first of all, beetroot has a very specific shade that doesn't really fit all skin types and hair types, so there's no guarantee that you can pick the right shade of lipstick. Second of all, it's just not gonna stay. And if you get it on your clothes, beetroot is like impossible to wash off. I'm talking also about things like beetroot soup. Like, as a result, some of the most common natural substances that you can use to make lipstick, they're very staining, and if they come in contact with any of your clothes, you can say goodbye to those clothes. Which, by the way, that also happens in contact with, the more common artificial lipstick brands, but at least these hold. So it's like, if you just want to use something like a lip balm around the house, then go ahead, like buy the beetroot lipstick. But if you're really looking for any sort of look, then honestly, some things just don't exist within this universe. It's this or that. You want to make your face look unnatural through makeup, through like a lot of makeup, like, an eyeshadow or something else, then there's a price to pay for that. And the price to pay is that it's just not gonna be organic. And that's all there is to it. I'm gonna end the subject here. I don't really, I prepared some things to show you, like this was one of them, right? The cocoa butter for the lips, but I don't even show you any of my makeup because it's nothing that I can recommend from an ecological standpoint. The only thing you can do, like I said, is to be on the budget, is to get the leftovers first. And really, believe me, like, if you go on this thrift store app that I mentioned, which is called Vinted, there's everything there. There's Chanel, there's Lancome, which is what I have. God, there's Dior, and all these things are like a quarter of the price of what you find in a normal store. And they are brand new with tags, with boxes unopened, because someone bought them, that they forgot that they bought them, and then they lost the receipt. And you can really find brand new stuff that will normally go, to trash because someone didn't use it. And this way you can at least avoid waste in the world and buy yourself new designer brands at a discount. That also works, like I said, if you're on a budget and you're struggling to buy yourself anything at all. So, and that's not advice for me here, is that it's better to have a few things, but good quality. Cheap makeup brands are just such a waste of time and money. Like, they don't hold, they don't stick, often they don't look good, they go away fast, so you have to reapply them, so you end up paying more by having to buy more. It really is better to buy at a more expensive, more quality brand, and again, by finding it on the thrift store, and just cut your losses here. And again, having one thing at a time. For example, I have like one large mascara and one small mascara, and they're Lancome, and I found them on the thrift store app, and it was $3. And it was brand new, and like no scam or anything, because, I used them, so I checked. And it really is possible to not overpay and still have some sort of quality in your cosmetics. Granted, I'm not a makeup expert, I'm just like a regular person doing regular makeup, but so are most of you watching, right? So, Besides, makeup is something that I enjoy, but it's not really something that I'm that deeply passionate about, so I will leave it to those who like to test different brands and whatnot. I just kind of do the basics, and here the purpose is to really show you about sustainability. So this is my, my experience and my advice. Take it as you will. Now, the other thing we're going to talk about here is deodorant. Like, I know this is a difficult subject because many of you have issues with excessive sweating, and it's like a genetic thing. Some people really do have that problem, and we're also culturally and socially conditioned to be so repulsed by like any hint of sweat. But just to put this in perspective for you, historically, our ancestors used to think sweat was an aphrodisiac. So just let that stay. Not that I agree, but let that stick, that it's all a matter of perspective and what society conditions us to think. And I actually experienced this firsthand because I went to a museum in I think it was in France once, and there was a museum of old perfume. It was something they have found, it was something they have found in some sort of ancient abandoned house, and it was like from the 15th century down to the 19th century, and it was really different. It really was like a more organic, musky smell. I'm guessing that it would be kind of like a person has their own natural skin smell, even if they have just showered. This is kind of how I would say it smell, like not like something dirty, but like just like human flesh with some aroma of flowers added, like freshly cleaned human flesh. So it was really different compared to the heavy alcoholic perfumes that we use nowadays. But deodorant, honestly, is a big issue in our society because people don't talk about it, but it's cancerous. Like, it's just, quite plainly, it's cancerous because the human body is supposed to sweat. We are supposed to sweat and wash. Meanwhile, nowadays, we have girls who keep like very long nails, longer than mine, and this, as you can see, my nails are clean because I clean myself. But there are girls out there who have like fake nails and stuff, like all those manicures, and underneath the, carefully curated paid for manicure, there's like a layer of a month of dirt. And this is the kind of society we live in right now. Or there are girls who wear all these layers of deodorant, but they don't shower. And I think that's absolutely, abominable, and we should start by being clean first when it comes to deodorant. Second of all, it's also the issue with the kind of lifestyle that we have nowadays. If you eat toxic food, that food has to come out of your body. What comes in must go out, right? So the body gets rid of the toxins in the bad food by sweating it out, or, through other means of excretion. So if you eat bad things, you're gonna smell bad. It's that simple. Like if you eat toxic processed food, you're gonna smell like it. And it's the same with clothes, which again, we have 2 very long episodes about. If you wear polyester clothing and you wear a plastic bag on your body, your body's gonna respond to that, and you're gonna sweat more, and it's not gonna be a pleasant smell. Yes, you sweat differently based on what you wear. Not kidding. If you wear a breathable fabric like linen or cotton, these fabrics, because they're kind of like human skin, they are porous, and as a result, the air can circulate through them, and it's not that there's gonna be no smell at all, but it's just gonna be negligible compared to how you will smell if you wear polyester all day. Try this on yourself and check it out. Also, it's very important that it takes some time for the body to eliminate toxins. So if you have been eating badly for a long time and then you start to eat well for a week, it might take some time for the body to eliminate all the toxins within your body and for it to be different. Now, there are some natural forms of deodorant. I don't right now have one with me. What I use contains rose water because I'm just waiting for a shipment to arrive because I've run out. So sadly, I don't have an example to show you right now. But what I use basically contains rose water. And the other type of deodorant that is good and that is organic, it's called ALUN. It's called an alum, and it's a type of a natural stone that especially is recommended for those who have issues with excessive sweating, because some people have like hormonal problems that they're born with. So this is what I recommend, and quite frankly, just, shower a lot and wear good clothes. And the other issue that I have is that some people have the social expectation that they go to the gym and the gyms have showers and they don't want to shower at the gym, so they just put on more layers of deodorant to just shower at home, and this is basically give yourself cancer over and over. After a workout, you're supposed to sweat. That is the point. This is what leads to weight loss. This is how your body reacts to cool itself down. If you are working out and you haven't broken a sweat, then this is not a good workout. And so you just washed and you move on, If you have to, it's healthier for you to wash 3 times a day. You can afford a 5-minute shower, even if you're not that rich, let's face it. And, it's still going to be healthier for you than applying all those layers of deodorant. And I'll give you an example of just how unnatural this is. When I was younger, I used to wear those like really heavy Adidas deodorants because I thought they smelled nice, and it was a time when I still was not conscious in any way about the quality of what I put in myself and on myself, about the quality of clothing and all of that. I was just not at that stage yet. completely uninvolved at that point in my life. And what I used to do is that I used to work an office job, and once I remember that forever. I put on my regular deodorant, right, and I went to my office job. And on that day, in the late afternoon, because I also I was work study, so I would go to class after work. So after my full heavy day, I lay down and I got really sick, and I got like a really massive case of flu, and it was just so bad that I couldn't even lift a finger. So on the day, I just collapsed, and I think I fell asleep because the flu was so bad. And I barely moved, I barely ate, I practically didn't leave the bed for the next 2 days because I had like a high fever, and no one was really taking care of me because I lived by myself. And so what happened is I lifted myself up at the beginning of day 3 after all of that, and the deodorant was so heavy that I was sweating. I had a fever, and when you're sick, you're supposed to sweat because it helps your body, like recover. And after those 3 days, I still smelled the same as I smelled at the beginning. So for 3 days when I was sick with this deodorant on me, it blocked the pores of my body so much that even when I was sick, it was not natural. And there was a moment when I kind of realized that something is not going on okay there, like, again, I will say that over and over, you are supposed to sweat. You're also supposed to wash naturally, a lot if you have to, but you are supposed to sweat. And so people have this, in the modern world, have this kind of aversion to sweating, and then they're like, oh, you're gross because it's happened to you. It's like, it's kind of like it's a mistake to sweat at all. But do you feel guilty when you eat or when you pee? Like, these things are natural, again. And so I don't encourage you to smell bad. I encourage you to understand that there is a price that you pay for blocking your body with a heavy deodorant when it basically prevents a natural reaction that comes from you. And again, if you're really smelling naturally, that is a sign of you not eating well because your body is trying to release the negative toxic substances that you fed it. And again, bad fabrics, they make you sweat bad too. Honestly, with all those tips, following them in my life, I can tell you that they've been more effective than any deodorant I have ever used, and I haven't really had any complaints when I was in a public space and someone has told me that they could smell me from the entrance. It's not how this works. It has literally never happened to me in my life. Now, kind of like with cosmetics, I make an exception in that I have like one bottle of better perfume that was given to me as a gift. It's like a Dior perfume. I didn't really pay for it, but again, you can find those at a discounted thrift store app. And I use them like, birthdays, Christmases, like 3-4 times a year. Because these things are extremely chemical. Like, I don't recommend them for everyday use at all. For everyday, I use flower water, rose water, lotus water, which, again, you can find it on thrift store app for like between $3 to $10, depending on who the seller is. And this is kind of what I would recommend more for daily use. You just have to be careful. You have to look at the ingredient list, because sometimes they add like a lot of all sorts of additives to even rose water. Good rose water. I think I have a bottle here somewhere of the last one, because I'm waiting for the shipment. Well, this one was made in France, and again, as you can see, the ingredients here are rose water and something that is called radish root ferment filtrate, which is something that prevents it to go bad, that is made from a vegetable. So it's like an organic preservative. I hope this is focusing well. Yeah, I guess it is. The ingredients are like at the bottom here, so I guess you're gonna have to zoom in. But if you put this on full screen, it's possible. So basically there are a few natural preservatives, mostly made from certain vegetables and fruits. But besides those, you should not tolerate any other additives in your flower water or plant water. And I know that some girls are also worried about being undesirable and about not being attractive and not being able to have relationships because of certain choices they make. But girls, I am married, so it is possible to be in a relationship and use organic cosmetics. And honestly, if you're steady with somebody for a longer period of time, it's just normal that you're just going to get to know each other's more intimate side. And if you think that you're gonna be with a man and you're never gonna smell him after a long day, then you need a reality check. And it's just normal. We should take care of each other and we should wash, but also you have to kind of abandon this pristine rose fantasy and get in contact with how nature actually works, because it surely is not like that. Not like the media is trying to sell people. like being clean is awesome, you know, cleanliness is close to godliness and all of this, and I'm a neat freak, I'm such a clean person, but again, realism, reality check, you know. Okay, now another thing, toothpaste. The one rule that I have for toothpaste is no fluoride, because fluoride calcifies the pineal gland, and the pineal gland is responsible for your third eye and your intuition. So unless, you know, there's really nothing else, then no fluoride whatsoever. I use Tom's of Maine, but there are alternatives. Just be careful, because Tom's of Maine has both non-fluoride and fluoride options. You have to pick the non-fluoride option. And I'm not saying it's the best brand or whatever, but it's one of the most commonly available ones at a decent price. Normally it's about like what, $6, and it lasts me for 3 months. At this price, you know, if I can afford it, so can you. So that is really relatively simple. I also use a wooden toothbrush because, you know, we don't want to produce more plastic. But honestly, you know, if you're in an emergency, I understand sometimes it happens. But if you can, use biodegradable wooden toothbrushes. Now, as per the things where you actually can have normal cosmetics, like the kinds that I brought here, and they're, you know, gonna be safe for you, the rule is less is more. The less you have on the ingredient list, the safer the cosmetic is. Like, if you pick up something and you can see that the ingredient list takes like, you know, an entire bottle, and there's just so much of them, there's like 200, you know, something is not okay. Because these things contain what is called sulfates, which basically dry out your skin and they irritate your scalp, your hair. And that is done so that you end up buying creams, which then contain microplastic, which you put on your skin, and it's gonna make you feel like you're hydrated, but in fact it's also cancerous. When it comes to body creams, like just lotions that you put on, first of all, not everyone needs them. I only use them in emergencies, I don't use them that often. Again, the same stuff as for your lips, 100% cocoa butter. Like, you have ingredients here, and it's the name of a plant. It's right here, something seed butter. It's Latin. Theobroma cacao seed butter. There you go. And this is the kind of cream that's honestly the best for you. As little as possible, purely organic ingredients. Like I said, this is coconut. Now, my issue is that there's only one brand of cosmetics in the world that I actually support. And that is made in Bulgaria, and they do not ship to the United States. There is one seller on Etsy that offers that, and it's cheaper than other luxury brands, but honestly, you may not be able to afford if you're very much on the budget, so I'm not even recommending this. Like, I brought mine with me from Europe. The brand is called Christina, and this is the only 100% organic cosmetic brand that I have actually ever found in the world. Like, there are some sellers who make things individual on Etsy. Etsy also works just like for clothing. There are people who make their own cosmetics, so if you can afford that and you can find it locally in the USA for yourself, then sure, that works. But if you are European, Christina delivers in Europe, and if I had a choice, I probably would just ask some friends to ship it to me. I would buy no other brand for the rest of my life. I don't need anymore. Honestly, this brand has everything, because it has, you know, this is makeup remover, for example, like a makeup removing gel. It has shampoos, intimate care for women. And by the way, they are very efficient. Like, the products are very thick and they last you a long time. For example, this is like female care product. And I don't know if you can see the level on the bottle. You can see it here. So I'm like, you know, a little more than halfway done. And I have been using this since I came to America, which was very early 2023. So yeah, over a year. It took me over a year to use half the bottle, which means it's gonna last me for another year probably. And, you know, I use it regularly. And that is because really with those products, they are so efficient that you put on a few drops and they do the job. And same with this shampoo, honestly. Like, this is a natural shampoo with natural egg yolk. And it says here actually 100% natural product. And, you know, it's for a reason. And the way this feels is that, you know, you foam it on your hair, and then your hair kind of drinks it up. It kind of absorbs it. It kind of, it feels like your hair is drinking the product itself, because hair basically is dead tissue on the human body. So when you have a shampoo, it basically, the dead tissue drinks up anything that nourishes it. And, well, sometimes when your hair is very dry, you can use a conditioner. Personally, I don't, because my hair is not very dry. I'm lucky in that department. Basically, the ingredients are so good and so nutritious that the hair literally soaks it up. With a bad shampoo, it's kind of gonna foam and kind of stay on top because it's plastic. So again, the hair is not gonna drink that. Like it partially sadly is, but it's just not gonna feel like your hair is drinking it like a thirsty person drinks water. You will be able to feel it on your hair. And the sad part is that people, the way we are raised nowadays, is that we are used to it and gives us the illusion of cleanliness. But, you know, those sulfates on typical shampoos, you know, deadly. Like, I'm gonna read you the ingredient list here. Castor oil, olive oil, one plant extract that I cannot understand, Saponaria officinalis, it's a plant. Jojoba oil, coconut butter, cocoa butter, shea butter, avocado oil, egg yolk powder, silk protein, marigold extract, aloe vera, some more olive extract, citric acid, grapefruit, seed extract. This is what this shampoo contains. It's all plants, it's all vegetables. That's why it's 100% natural, and this is what this brand does in everything. And this is the kind of level that you should be expecting for yourself. You should be expecting to have cosmetics that look like that. Now, let's say that you really are in a pinch. Like this company has everything. They have shower gels, they have shampoos, everything. Let's say you really are in a pinch and you don't know what to get and you are really, really broke, which, you know, has happened to me, so I know how to help you. What do? You buy a basic soap bar and you use nothing else. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, if you think you're gonna buy some sort of a shampoo for $1, it's gonna be good for you, no. This soap bar is from Winco. And again, it's Winco soap bars are like $2.50 or something. And, you know, at the beginning before... And like when I came from Europe, I brought with myself, you know, the makeup removal and the female care products, but I didn't have the shampoo. My friend sent me a shampoo not so long ago. Before my friend sent me the shampoo, I had nothing else. So all that I was using was these soap bars. I've been using Winco soap bars, you know, for an entire year after I came to America because I couldn't afford anything else. And they are not as good as this shampoo. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, they're not as nourishing for your hair, right? They're not as they don't make them as silky and luscious. Yeah, sure. But they also don't damage them, because I specifically actually walked around stores here to look at the ingredient lists, and the Winco soap is very simple. It has like only 3 to 4 ingredients, and in its simplicity, this soap actually makes a perfect product for everything. I would use it to wash my body, my hair, everything, and it did the job. And it's cheap. So, like, again, if you're really struggling financially, don't try to buy any of those cheaper, fancier shampoos or anything they have. Don't even look at anything, because none of it is good. Nothing. Just a simple Winco soap bar. Granted, there are better soap bars in the world, specifically from this company. You know, they have better soap bars too, like infused with plant oils. But here we're talking about an emergency, right? We're talking about a financial emergency when you're trying to really buy something that's not going to harm you. Something that's on a budget and it's not gonna harm you, right? And so this is what works for these kind of situations. And I know that you may feel a bit discouraged, you know, thinking, what, do I just use a soap bar? You know, I'm a girl. Well, sadly, you know, you have to make a choice. Either you put something on you that's potentially cancerous and is gonna hurt you and it's not really gonna be good for you because you wanna feel fancy and you wanna fall for the marketing, or you wanna use something that actually is at least, you know, not damaging if not good for you. See, this is not damaging, at least. This is good for you. Like, this gives you something extra, which, you know, you have to pay for. I'm gonna put the link to the Etsy store in the description that sells this brand. They don't sell everything the brand offers, sadly, but they sell the essentials. Like, you will be able to basically buy enough stuff from this brand to, like, wash your hair and your body and everything. But again, you have to ask yourself a question, like, do you want to fall for a pretty bottle, or do you really want to know real information about what actually is good for you? Especially if you have sensitive skin. This is a lifesaver for you. So again, I'm just telling you what is safe, and it's up to you to decide if you're ready to make the kind of sacrifice, if you're ready to have the commitment to really, you know, say no to things, and just think about how much easier it makes shopping, right? When you reject most of the things in the store, you realize that most of them actually are bad for you, and you just go for one thing and you're set. And you have a lot of temptations. I know a lot of people like to browse in stores and they just, you know, kind of go in there mindlessly, but well, this is about conscious consumption, right? This is what we're talking about here. And conscious consumption means going in, picking up what you need and leaving. But marketing is everywhere nowadays, so this advice might feel controversial to you, but I'm just telling you the truth, and you can do what you want with it. So I think this should be enough to give you a basic idea of what you can do. Really, honestly, the tips are not that hard because they just involve cutting down on most things, and if you want something that's good, you have to be able to let go of what's not good. And I think this is the hardest part in the process, not the technical information, but the mindset, really. Anyway, take your time, you may have some attachments. If you still have some leftover stuff at home, sure, finish it. Honestly, something that I like to do in the past when I was still transitioning from, crap to better cosmetics. The cosmetics that are not good, use them as dishwashing soap. Not kidding you. Like, they basically remove grease so well that you can clean a greasy plate with it, and that should show you how bad they are for the human body if they remove, heavy greasy plate. This is not what you should put on your body, right? But if you want to get rid of them, like I said, faster, and you don't want to put on your body, then just put it, in your dishwasher soap bottle and wash the dishes with it. And this way you can get rid of them faster and not waste them. So yeah, if you're ready to start the journey, good luck. You know what to do now. And I know it's hard to let go, but it depends on what you really want, if you're interested in really being healthy or not. Again, your choice, right? But you clicked on this video, so I guess you are interested. Good luck. See you.